Morning. So this tree is the spruce, and these are the biggest ones I've found in our area, just a few miles down the road from where we live in this little valley. There's a few nice big old ones dotted around, and then if I just pan around, you'll see this whole hillside is covered in these spruce trees. There's a couple of different varieties of spruce that grow naturally in this part of Colorado. This one is the Engelmann spruce, Picea engelmanni, and there's also the Colorado blue spruce, which looks quite pretty, and I'll try and post some photos of that when I find those dotted around. So the spruce tree, it's kind of likes sheltered valleys really to grow in, which is why you're finding it here. Kind of on the eastern edge of its range, a bit like the Douglas fir. And spruce is kind of interesting to me because back home in the UK, spruce is the kind of mainstay of the forestry and the timber industry. And the next place that we significantly find trees mentioned in the Bible is again as timber being used, and this time it's acacia wood, and this is in Exodus 25, 26, 27, 28, where God gives the Israelites a instruction on building the tabernacle and particularly the Ark of the Covenant, which is pretty famous. There's been films about that, Indiana Jones, and also the altar of burnt offerings, both of which were made out of acacia wood and then overlaid with kind of gold and precious stuff. So this is kind of interesting. Oh, there's some kind of critter squawking at me. If you can hear that, a little squirrel getting excited. Should have brought my shotgun. These things, the Ark of the Covenant and the altar, represent the law and the sacrifices that God gave the Israelites instructions about. And people get confused about this, and people get confused about God's purpose in giving these instructions to the Israelites, and think that God's being kind of overly harsh and dictatorial, and it's all about kind of forcing the Israelites to kind of adhere to his ways, they kind of a lot of people get confused and see God as being kind of very judgmental over these issues, but it's actually quite contrary to that when you really understand how these things fit into the whole story of the Bible. And then what the law was there to do was to kind of give the Israelites a framework to kind of be able to live peacefully and harmoniously, with kind of a good moral code, and basically constrain their rebellion, their sin as a people, and also then be able to show that to the other nations around them, to be a kind of model of how God wanted people to be able to live in peace and in harmony, and kind of getting the best out of life, basically. That was one of the main purposes of the law. But also there's a secondary purpose, and that's where the kind of sacrifices come in as well. Is that the purpose of the law and the sacrifices was then to show people that actually you're not going to be able to fulfill all this, and this is God's standard, and as kind of rebellious humans, mankind that's kind of fallen away from God, you're not going to be able to fulfill all this, all these regulations, and you're not going to be able to live up to God's standard on your own. And so it's actually pointing the way to the need of a saviour, and that's the whole purpose of the law and the sacrifices, is showing that actually you're not going to be able to achieve this on your own. There's going to need to be a sacrifice in order to meet this and to fulfill the law. And there's going to need to be a sacrifice on your behalf, so that you don't have to lose your life because of your rebellion. And this is then pointing us to Jesus, and is pointing us to the need of a saviour, someone who can come and fulfil the standards on our behalf, and then die in our place, because the wages of kind of not meeting God's standard is death, because if we can't live up to the standard He's given us, then we're gonna face death. That's the penalty. But Jesus then came to do that. God came on our behalf to do it through Jesus, and that's the whole point of the law and the sacrifices, is pointing us to Jesus, the one who could come in our place, fulfill the standard, meet the requirements, and then go and die in our place as the sacrifice that we needed in order to pay our dues, basically, that we couldn't do on our own. So in order that we don't have to face death, He did it for us. And that's kind of what this whole law and sacrifices in the Old Testament is pointing towards. And when we understand that in the kind of the big picture of the whole of the Bible, then it's kind of liberating, and we understand the true nature of God, who wants to bless and wants to show us His kindness and His patience. And you see, all the way through human history, how God has just shown to be patient and kind to people. But this is often this is often misinterpreted, and so just hope that's helpful. That just blesses you. And I'm just going to pan around again so you can see this beautiful spruce forest I'm in, and think about the acacia wood that was. We haven't got any acacia in Colorado, as far as I know, kind of out of its range. But the acacia wood that was used to build the Ark of the Covenant and the altar, and spruce would be a good substitution when it's all sawn up nicely. It would be do a good job of making an altar or an ark. You can then cover it with some gold and stuff, and it would look pretty nice. So there we go.